3 key things to get yourself a smaller waist, lose the belly fat, train the transverse abdominis, and get bigger shoulders. What is going on YouTube? Rory Gissing here. Oh my god, that reflection, it is absolutely terrible. We're gonna have to do this completely blind. I am blind as hell. Let's try this again. What is going on YouTube? Rory Gissing here, Men's Physique IFBB Pro, and today I needed a bit of inspiration when making this video, so first thing I did is go to Google, type in Men's Physique, and boom, Google has chosen for me. So this looks like it's a pretty sought after question, which is how to shrink your waist in the men's physique world. Of course, people have these tiny little waists, absolutely shredded abs, and then huge shoulders, which gives you that incredible V-taper. So that's gonna be our topic for today. Let's get going. Okay, so how do they do it? How do the pros have these tiny little waists? I'm gonna have probably a picture of Jeremy Potvin as the example A, because he's got to have the best waist to shoulder ratio. So that is pretty crazy, and he is, you know, an exception where I don't think you're gonna find many people who has that crazy genetics to have that waist that small. But how do we get, how do we shrink the waist? How do we get it smaller? Now, this is a pretty big question. I've even designed training programs on how to shrink your waist, which consisted of almost 1,000 reps for abs and obliques, just because in my head I was thinking, let's just get as much fat burn and blood in that area as possible. Let's potentially overtrain the muscle and break it down potentially even, because some of the biggest things is, overpowering obliques. But there's a mistake. When you have overpowered obliques, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But we're gonna have a few tips on how to get better waist control, but you're never gonna be Jeremy Potvin, for example. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind is waist trainers. Do they actually work? So you do see a lot of the pros have their waist trainers, and I didn't eat. Ah, shit. I've had my meal just sat here for about 45 minutes. I need to eat real quick. And yes, I need glasses to eat, so bear with me. Okay, we're back, and we left off on waist trainers. So waist trainers, biggest question, do they work? Yes or no? In my opinion, yes, they can work, but no, they're not miracle workers. So they don't physically shrink your waist for you. I believe the way they work is, one, you can get a bit more blood in that area. And of course, more blood does mean you can break fat down a bit easier. So by breaking down the fat, that's a topic we're going to come back to. You can physically, your waist can get smaller, because there's less fat. That's a pretty simple solution right there. So, solution one, to get a smaller waist, lose the fat. Lose the fat around it, and you can use a waist trainer for that, but they are limited. It's not, as I said, it's not a miracle worker. It can maybe speed up the process a little bit, but you don't have to have a waist trainer at all to lose that tire around your midsection to make it look a little bit smaller. Now, waist trainers are not tight lace corsets. They don't physically pull your waist in. It is just there to have a little bit of resistance, and by doing so, you can actually train your transverse abdominis muscle, your TVA for short. And that is, I'll put it on the screen exactly where that is in the body. That you will have better control over this muscle, and that can physically pull your waist in when flexed. Okay, so when we flex the waist, when we flex the TVA, you can literally pull your waist in, but again, we're not talking anything crazy. Maybe a ½ inch. If you fully vacuum, then yeah, we're talking 2-3 inches, but that's not the look for men's physique. You don't want to be vacuumed up. You just want a little inward suction. Yes, so waist trainers can help you train that, because it's got a bit of a resistance against it. If you relax your transverse abdominis, it hurts a little bit. So you're constantly flexing that muscle to keep it up. And that, by training your TVA, you can then have better, you can have better contractions to even more forcefully suck that waist in. But as I said, you're talking ½ inch, maybe even less. So it's not anything crazy. So going back to this tight lace corset, That will physically bring your waist in. However, I do not recommend this. You are going to be moving organs around. You're not going to be able to contract pretty much any of your core muscles while you do this. You're not going to have a good six-pack. You're not going to have a good lower back. You're not going to have, those spinal erectors. So I do not see the point in doing any kind of crazy tight waist training for those reasons. It's not a look that's for men's physique. So can you train your transverse abdominis without using a waist trainer? Yes, you can. I did it last prep, and that is just by doing vacuums. So there's going to be loads of videos out there on YouTube. I can do another video, but as I said, there's so many out there, I don't see the point. Go ahead and have a look, and you'll be able to do some basic vacuum training, bring it up to a more advanced vacuum training just to get really good control over that transverse abdominis, and that can really bring your waist in. Okay, so we're gonna come back to what happens if you have overpowering obliques, if you have thick obliques, which you built from doing, well, you could have them naturally, or you could have been doing heavy deadlifts, heavy squats, your heavy compound lifts. You can build thicker obliques by doing that. Or even if you were someone like myself, which transitioned from rugby into bodybuilding, just having that stability, that core stability that rugby gives you, does build thicker obliques to start with. So I have this issue myself, and the way to fix it, get bigger shoulders. So it's all an illusion in bodybuilding. Just having bigger shoulders can make your waist look smaller. So we have a past Mr. Olympia, Raymond Edmondson. He doesn't have the smallest waist in the game. He's actually a little bit on the bigger side, but he's a Mr. Olympia, and he achieved this because he has these crazy great shoulders. So he's really, round and caps, which just gives him that triangular illusion. So it doesn't necessarily mean thick-waisted people are going to not be rewarded in men's physique. You just have to ensure your proportions are corrected. So that is it. To summarize how to get a smaller waist: 1, lose the fat. The less fats you have on your waist, you're clearly going to have a smaller waist. So you even have internal fat stores. When you get like really low body fat percentage, those internal fat stores are going to be depleted as well, and that can bring your waist even smaller. So you could be shredded six-pack, but then you keep losing more and more fats, which is tucking into your internal stores. That waist can come in. Tip number 2, train your transverse abdominis. This can physically pull your waist in a little bit tighter. We're not talking anything crazy, but every little helps. And tip number 3, to give you the illusion of a smaller waist, get huge, bolder shoulders, giving you that crazy triangular look when you come in from these crazy broad shoulders into a smaller waist. It can just enhance that triangular look. So those are the tips to how to get a smaller waist. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you made it this far, I'll appreciate a like and subscribe. We will see you in the next one.